Hi, it's Riann. My last video was a thrift haul, and I let you guys know in that video that I wanted to do a thrift flip upcycling video, and this is that video. I am really excited to show you guys what I have made. Everything that I am going to be upcycling is from the last thrift haul, but I also did buy some fabric online back when the thrift stores were still closed in the lockdown. So I got some GOTS certified sustainably made cotton that I also used for one of the pieces as well. So anyway, let's get started. I'm so excited to show you guys. So the first thing that I wanted to make were some linen pants, like I mentioned in that thrift video. So here I am. I had washed them and then I ironed them, and then I took a pair of pants that I liked the fit of, and I sort of just outlined one of the legs in order to make a pattern, and I cut out 4 pieces like this, and then I sewed along the inside and outside of each leg. This is a clip of me trying them on because I was so surprised that they actually look like pant legs. The next thing that I had to do was join the 2 legs together, and then I went ahead and just sewed that up as well. I had something specific in mind for the waistband, so I wanted to take the buttonhole maker on my sewing machine, and I made 2 buttonholes. And it was exciting to learn how to do something new on the sewing machine when I was making this piece. Then I took my waistband over and I ironed it so that way 2 smaller flaps were sort of folding in on each side. And what I decided to do is just make it so that way I would be able to cover all of the open seams because I didn't want to have any open seams. And then I took a long strip of fabric and I folded each side into the middle and then sewed that up so I could have a waistband string. The next thing to do is to cut open the buttonholes and then thread this through. And then I pinned this to the very tippy top of the waistband so that way I could attach the waistband to the pants like I'm doing here, and then I could sew it together and the waistband would already be on the inside. So here they are, all pinned and ready to be sewn. What was great about this too is that when I sewed this up, it took care of all of the exposed seams, so I didn't have to do any seam finishing on the top of the pants. Then I finished the ends of the waistband string by hand stitching them, and I hemmed the pants. And the last thing that I did is any open seams that I had, I just did an overcasting stitch. And basically all this was to do was to make sure there were no raw edges and it wouldn't fall apart. So now we're going to make a green tank top out of the organic sustainable cotton that I bought. So I got a tank top that I really like the fit of, and I drew an outline with my tailor's chalk on 2 pieces that were facing right sides together, so I was on the wrong side. Then I sewed up the sides of my tank top as well as the top where the straps are, so that way I could get sort of a basic shape going and I could try it on. And once I tried it on, I marked out with chalk exactly where I wanted the neckline and the front straps to go. So I marked that out, and then I just did a little halfway, and then I folded it over and marked it again so that way it would be even on both sides, and I just cut it out. While the piece was still inside out, I folded each of the sides of the seam together and sewed that down so that way everything would be finished. I think this is called a faux French seam. The next thing I did was cut a long strip of fabric, and then I ironed again both of the sides into the middle, and then I just folded that. And then I pinned it to my neckline so that way I could have a nice finished neckline. And once I sewed this with my machine, I just flipped it over, and then on the inside of the garment I hand stitched it into place. So that way I wouldn't have to have any top stitching on the outside because I wanted to make it look very finished and very polished. Here's some video of me just hand stitching it down, and I repeated this on each of the sleeves, and then I just finished the hem on the bottom. The last piece that I decided to make was with this striped fabric from this skirt, and I wanted to make it into kind of a shell top with a little bit of a corset-y feel. So the first thing I did was I cut off the waistband, and I also opened up all of the seams so it could lay flat, and I of course went over that with the iron. And then I was able to get a really good idea of how much fabric I had. In order to make a pattern, I put a dress that I already had on some wrapping paper, and I outlined it, and then I just went in and sort of cut it out. After that, I pinned it into place, and I really tried to keep the lines, cohesive through the whole piece, so I did mark where the lines were as well. But yeah, it didn't end up working out entirely, but it doesn't look super bad either, so it's okay. Then I repeated that step with the lining fabric, and I sewed it all together except the bottom, and I flipped it right side out. And then I repeated that for 2 sides on the back. However, when I sewed it together, I realized it was way too small. So I went back and I added in these little filler pieces so that way it would be the right size. Stella gave it her stamp of approval. And then I sewed up each of the sides on the back. The next thing I did was install a zipper, and this is where the second problem came, because if the zipper had zipped all the way to the bottom, I do believe it would have fit. However, the point where the zipper stopped about midway through would not go over my hips or my shoulders. So I had to go ahead and take the zipper out and rethink this a little bit. So I took the 4 belt loops off of the skirt waistband and I sewed them onto each side. And then I made 2 smaller little loops for the top so I could have 6 loops in total. And then I took this really nice ribbon that I got from a Jo Malone Candles purchase and I just laced it all up. And then I went ahead and finished the bottom by just doing a rolled hem. So if you remember the linen sheet before, and then this is after. I am so excited about these pants. I absolutely see myself wearing these on vacation, 100%. Yeah, I couldn't help but dance. And the tank top, of course, started off as this piece of really beautiful dark cotton fabric, and I made it into this really great tank top, and I really love the fit of this. It's incredibly comfortable. Here is the whole outfit, which unfortunately is really blurry, but I think you kind of get the idea. Oh man, I can't wait for it to warm up. I'm so excited to wear this outfit. And then of course, this is the skirt before. And then here it is, styled after the way I had thought of wearing it sort of with a suit. I really like the way that it turned out. It is a little shorter than I maybe would have intended, but overall I think it's very cute. I also really like that it does have sort of some corset style elements to it. I obviously really like it, as you can tell by the 1, 2, 3, woo, the kick. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm also going to be doing a thrift flip for this dress. So if you'd like to see that, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any ideas, let me know. Talk to you next time. Bye.